Yeah, the big area was mainly that certain children in development, psychologically, they're subjected to a lot of negativity, whether that negativity comes from their parents or their carers or the environment they grow up in. Over time, they start beginning to have self-esteem issues, confidence issues, motivation issues as well. So the key for me was to help them to move forward, to be able to get their life back on track. And some of the children had come from the most difficult and challenging backgrounds, really, where some of them didn't have any parents or haven't had parents or haven't had anyone in their life really to help them. And in I guess you could class as being slightly disadvantaged, really, because they haven't had too many lucky breaks from an early age. And I think sometimes you come across certain children at a very early age that just have to fend for themselves, and some of them are very resilient. They gain resilience because over time they learn how to survive, basically. And the key is to really help them to manage their behavior, because ultimately if they have self-esteem issues, they've got issues with confidence and other personal issues, and it's very difficult for them to get their life on track, professionally, career-wise, personally. And I think over time the negativity they're subjected to has a big effect, really. I think sometimes it can, well, they can move into a life of crime, or they can sabotage their life in different areas. So the key for me is to help them to be able to break barriers down and just break through a different mindset they have, really, and help them get some confidence, help them be motivated, and help them to be able to get their life back on track. Yeah, definitely. And I think it served me really well to work with children. I find that a lot of adults carry a lot of what went on in their lives long before they're adults. So someone might be 30, 40, 50, 60 years of age even, and they may be living their life subjective to what happened to them at a very early age. And I think from working with children, I have the ability to see the child in everybody, really, where a lot of people, they may be chronologically a certain age, but mentally they still run with a very early outlook in life, where someone may have given them a negative comment early on in their life about their appearance, about their ability, as early as 5, 6 years of age, and they may carry this through for the rest of their life, really, and it can sabotage any chance to have a relationship. It can sabotage the way they feel about themselves, and generally they start believing, it almost becomes a self-fulfilled prophecy, that they may have been told they're useless, they may have been told they're unattractive, they may have been told that they're always going to be subjected to a level of negativity, and they'll hold this in their heart, really, for a long time. And I think we can go in at a level, whatever age someone is, they don't need to be tied into the past. We can move forward, we can break down these barriers. And it's interesting because you see a lot of people at different ages, really, regardless of how old they are, they continue to live their life based on what happened at a very early age in their life. Exactly, and that's all it takes, really. It only takes one comment to have a snowball effect. And if someone begins to believe that, and if it comes from someone that the child looks up to, it may be a parent, it could be a carer, it could be a member of family, then there's every chance they could hold this close to their heart, and it may stay for a very, very long time. There's every chance they may continue to believe that, just like you said there in the case of someone in the singing, where that can happen in life in different areas. It can affect their appearance, so they may be a perfectly attractive person. However, because they've been told from an early age they're unattractive, they continue to believe that. They may have been told that they're not going to amount to much. And every time they have a chance to be able to do something positive in their life, then they may sabotage that because they want to go back to where they feel comfortable again. And we can really help people move forward at that level, because you don't need to be tied in to other people's insecurities. And a lot of the time, the people who do come up with these comments have their own insecurities, they've got their own reasons for saying what they say, and sometimes it's not really worthwhile. It's worth challenging what someone may have said a long time ago. We can't live our lives based on what happened many, many years ago. Yeah, definitely. And for some people it can take a while, and for some people it doesn't take as long. And I think ultimately everybody's got their own level of resilience, where some people are very strong in different areas of their life and they can move forward. Some people find it very difficult. I think everybody responds differently. The key is it doesn't have to be that way. They can move forward. And you make a good point there where you mentioned the logical side. And I think sometimes we know things on a logical level may be harming us, but these things are happening at a subconscious level. They're very deeply rooted. So logically, for example, we know that smoking is not good for us. There's enough evidence out there to suggest it's not good for us. There's enough written material saying it's not good for us. That's at a conscious level. But we have the different part of the mind, the unconscious level. For one reason or the other, people tend to smoke based on an emotional need, and that happens with eating, that happens with a lot of areas of people's lives. So the conscious side of knowing something is one thing, but subconsciously, that's why NLP and hypnotherapy works really well, because we can, at a subconscious level, where many of our thoughts and feelings are stored, help people to move forward and literally reprogramming their thought process at a deeper level so they can move forward, which is why hypnotherapy and NLP works very rapidly. Because we can constantly tell someone until we're blue in the face, that's not right, you're attractive, you shouldn't smoke, you look well, you're very good. We can give them all these praise and compliments, and the thing is, because that's done at the conscious level, there's never going to be really a significant change, because they're going to keep operating out of that subconscious level of their mind. Well, NLP it stands for neuro-linguistic programming. What goes through the mind, the linguistics, our communication with ourselves and with other people, and programming, our conditioned thought pattern. I first came across NLP many years ago when I was embarking on an athletics career, and I wanted to know how I could go to another level. So I was looking far and wide for different types of psychology to help me move my performance to a new level. And it was way back in the late 80s, I came across a book. It was written by Tony Robbins, it was at the time, and I read the book and I read how he applied NLP to his life, and I thought, well, if he can do it, then maybe I can do it too, and I can take my athletic performance to a new level. And I read what he did, and I then researched NLP more extensively. I went on a few courses and I learnt to be a practitioner and a trainer, and I applied it to every aspect of my life, and I felt it was really powerful. I think ultimately NLP is all about studying excellence, modeling excellence. So one of the presuppositions of NLP, if it's possible for one person to do something, it's possible for another. It's just a question of how. So we study what works, and if you're going to run a marathon, you study someone who's run one successfully before, in adverse to someone who's never done one before. So it's a very, very powerful tool for change. Well, first of all, I'd ask you to have an outcome in mind, something that you wanted to achieve. And I think the key with NLP is you have an outcome, where conventionally people can go see a therapist and they can talk about their problems over and over again. It's not solving anything, so to speak. With NLP, the key is to have an outcome in mind. So anytime I have a client come across to me, I make sure they're specific about what they want in the area of their life they're actually consulting me for. So someone might come to me for variable outcomes. They might be setting goals to set up a business. They might be coming along to give up smoking. They might be coming along to help